Boys, we got a bench day coming up today, and you know what that means. That means our t-shirt with the tightest sleeves, and ignoring the fact that it's Christmas cat t-shirt to preserve our fragile male self-confidence. I'm just cooking up my eggs this morning, which is 180 something grams of 93.7 beef. Buddy's doing the thing all boy children do with their moms, and all boy dogs do with everyone, where they just want to show me their bone. 180 something grams of 93.7 beef, 3 eggs, and I got a conspiracy theory for you boys that I think back in the 90s, all the CEOs, all the head producers, all the Dan Schneiders of the companies that produced all these children television shows got together and they were like, hey, boobs or butts? And Pixar was like, boys, without a doubt, it's butts. And then we get things like the robot movie. What was it? It's not iRobot, but I don't know, with a big badonkadonk, or Mrs. Incredible. You get this influx of characters from Pixar with that dump truck. Hey, no yelling at cats. Hey, leave her. And then you get, and then the boob guys. No one's there. So it's like, what happened at this conspiracy theory? And what actually happened is the boob guys started talking, and then Cartoon Network came in. He was like, boys, I hear all of your points. They're all valid. It's not about boobs. It's about the big titty goth GFs. And they were like, I think you're smoking something, Cartoon Network, and we kind of want some of it. So we get characters like Raven. We get the Hex girls from Scooby-Doo that introduced all of us as children to the big titty goth GFs. And now, as grown adults, who won that debate? Who won that? Did Pixar translate into all of us becoming butt guys? I'm using that phrase because we're too early in the video for YouTube to allow me to use the actual verbiage that I want to. Or are we all about the big titty goth GFs? It's kind of weird that there was no other boob guys out there, but let me know. Also, anime came in late to the party and made everyone get yellow fever. And let's just ignore the fact that the real thing that's the most attractive quality in a woman is confidence and drive, and holding themselves accountable. We can all wish for unicorns out there, right? Alright, so the food is cooked. It's a little overcooked, because as I was prepping the finishing touches on it, Buddy has this tendency to enjoy chewing whatever he's chewing on whoever he's with. So he's got this bone, right? And I'm standing, I'm not paying attention. He's usually pretty careful. This little guy, he comes up, puts the bone on my one-man army. It rolls a bit, and he chomps down. And I hit the floor harder than, which one is it? Jake Paul will, after Mike Tyson swings at him. And, yeah, I spent like 10 minutes on the floor. I checked the damage out, and I've got 2 bite marks on my Salvation Army. I will tell you, very painful. I have a massive bellyache now. Not a fun experience. Would not suggest. He is not my friend today. Even though he's like right there. He's not my friend today. No one who chomps down on a man's dingleberry is a friend. No. Boys, we are in a tough spot right now. So if you have any sort of, I don't want to say mental disorder, but a compulsion that not personality disorder either. So I am I am very in tuned with the regularity of my schedule, and it's very regimented, and I struggle a lot when things get out of that regiment and out of that routine schedule. And for the most part, it's good because it means that I check all my boxes throughout the day, and I miss very little, very frequently. I rarely miss anything ever that I need to do in order to be the most successful version of myself for the goals that I've set out for myself to do. But recently, I have not been in complete control of my schedule, and I have had to schedule myself around other people, which not good. Not good. I have to set up boundaries. I have set up boundaries that people have just constantly disrespected and are expecting of things from me that I cannot deliver, but are still expecting them. So I have to compromise on myself and my own goals in order to achieve or. So I got off to a bad start this morning. I slept for 4 hours or 4.5 hours, and I was awoken to do my free Uber duties, where I don't get paid for any of it, because Buddy's other humans' car works. They just refuse to use it because I guess I'm some sort of slave or something, and my time doesn't actually matter to them because I'm unemployed. So I guess I can't do anything to try and further and get a job, or make ends meet, because I've been doing Uber Eats recently, and that time gets thrown away constantly because it's like, oh, you have to do this for me now. So I'm not gonna get into that because that's just me complaining about things. But I got off to a bad start this morning. Woke up, I had to drive them in. I came back home. I got back to sleep, and that put me about 3 or 4 hours out of my usual regimen. So it's about 2 o'clock right now. Usually, I'm on my way to the gym at either 10:30 or 11:30. And the past couple days, it's getting later and later and later. I'm getting off to a later and later start, and I need to do something about that because I cannot operate like this much longer. So I have to pick them up at 3:30, which means I was about to go to the gym. I was about to eat my pre-gym meal and go to the gym, train for about an hour and a half, and it's about 2:30 right now. I would have been late, and I would have gotten an earful for being late, despite their car actually working, just needing a jump every once in a while, and them not actually, trying to alleviate that issue. So I'm here, and I'm just like, I have appointments at 5. Someone has to meet someone. They're nervous about meeting them, and they want me there for their peace of mind, their safety, and their protection. So I have to do that at 5. I have a call with my nutritionist and coach at 6 because literally everything I've talked about to this point is making it difficult for me to operate at any sort of anything. And so I am not in. I'm. For me to say no to someone is really difficult because, like, I was. I've never been able to tell anyone no. I've never broken up with someone, and so I've always had. They've always broken up with me because I'm too people pleasery. But that means that eventually I would get taken advantage of, and here we are. So, like, I've never been able to tell anyone no for anything. So, hey, can you do this for me? Yeah, sure, I'll do it. It's like, it's almost this expectation that I'm going to do things for people that I shouldn't always be available, but I always am. I always make myself available because I like being that person that people can count on. And if I say no once, then they can't count on me ever. So that's where I've been at my entire life, and I'm at the point where I know I'm getting taken advantage of, and I'm still unable to say no. And for my own sanity and my own health and everything, I'm still unable to say no. So I was supposed to go to the gym. Things just kept getting pushed further and further back, and I am getting pushed further and further out, and my own goals are getting pushed further and further out, so I'm unable to do what I need to do today. So it's 2:30. I would have to eat, do my pre-workout, do everything that I need to do in order to go train. And so I'd get to the gym at 3. I need to pick the other person up at 3:30, 3:45. I know I'm going to get there at 3:30, and they're going to spend 2 hours being like, but I needed you here at 3:30 in case. And I'm going to be like, what's my time? My time is not getting the respect that it needs. I get that I'm unemployed. I'm trying. I don't need to know every single detail about how me am a burden every single day. But it happens. And so I actually don't know. I'm in decision paralysis right now, where I don't know what I want to do right now. Do I want to go and just let them be late? Let them have to find their own way home, which that sounds terrible, but like, it's been 8 weeks of me putting myself second. Like mental health is a lot like flying on an airplane. Like, you got to take care of yourself before you can take care of others, and I'm not taking care of myself right now, and I need to put myself first in order for me to actually do what I need to do to make sure that I don't off myself, because I can't say no to anyone. The only way that they'll get the point that I can't say no to them, and I need to stop getting taken advantage, is if I disappear somehow. So I'm like on the fence of like getting in my car, putting all my stuff in my car, and just driving somewhere, so they can't ask me over and over and over and over again, hey, do this for me. It's not, can you do this for me? They're like, do this for me. And then I'm thinking to myself, what if I say no? And I know that it's just gonna, it's not a good, nothing good is gonna come from it. And like, I know that she's gonna end up seeing this video, be completely blackout drunk, and just tear into me. Absolute, like, it's happened 5 times in the past 2 weeks, and I'm not here for it anymore. I just need, like, all my friends are just like, you're not in a safe situation. You need to leave. You need to do something about it. And I don't really have anywhere to go outside of living in my car. So I have the price sheet of everything I need in order to live out of my car. And it's not that much. I need a cooler. I need access to ice. I need a butane burner. I need one frying pan, maybe some way to get rice. I could just do bagels instead of rice, but I'd be eating plain beef pretty much every meal, plain chicken, plain beef. But it's like, this is the point where I'm at. It's I know it sounds whiny and complainy, but I'm not healthy right now. Like, yeah, I'm healthy. I'm healthy internally. My blood pressure is perfect. My resting heart rate is decent. My cholesterol's good. My blood sugar's good. All of those boxes are checked, but it's the stuff in here that's not healthy right now, and I need to do something about it. I'm thinking about going to like Vermont or something, and just chilling in my car, finding a campground or something, or just living in a Walmart parking lot where they've at least got bathrooms open 24/7 in case I have to take a dump in the middle of the night, you know? That's where I'm at. It sounds like a no-brainer, but it's not. But I don't know what to do right now, and I don't have enough time to do anything that I need to do right now in order to do the things that I need to do to make sure I am healthy, make sure that I can actually function as a human. And yeah, I don't know. But I will be benching later today, probably after the call with my nutritionist at 6. My nutritionist, my coach will probably be there, but I don't know if it's. They're basically two in one, where it's like if you tell one thing to one, they both know. It's almost like they're a singular unit because they're in a relationship together and they talk about things and they make sure that they're on the same page as each other. So I'll be training at like 7. I have to be in bed by 8 usually in order to get. This is sounding a lot like the second time I hospitalized myself back in back when I was in college. I didn't really know which major I was going to do, and I was looking at math education. And one of the requirements was X amount of education courses. So I also I forgot what was I was trying to do. There's another. I had to take statics for some reason, which was like an elevation past physics, and so I took both of those classes in the summer, 15-week courses compressed down to 5 weeks. So I locked myself in a room for 27 hours a day, making sure I at least had food, and I would be working on this all day. And about 2 weeks in, I ended up hospitalizing myself because I couldn't function anymore. Like I was submitting everything on time, and then suddenly I started getting behind in the statics. And I ended up in the hospital outpatient program. So at least I got to sleep I slept in my own bed, which I was living in my brother's basement at that time, in just his extra room. And yeah, so I was having to drive to and from the outpatient program every day. They put me on some new meds, which I'm still on, but I know they need to be adjusted, and I don't really have means to get them adjusted right now. So I mean, there's that too. U.S. healthcare system for the win. But it's kind of reminiscing like that, because if I go to the train at like 7 and I get home at 9, I'm supposed to be in bed by 8. So my day is already 25 hours long at that point. And then I go to bed at like 10, maybe 11, based on how difficult it is for me to consume the food that I need to consume. And then things get pushed back further and further and further. I still have to wake up at 6:45 to do my free Uber duties, and then I have to adjust to make sure that I don't skimp on my sleep, because if you skimp on your sleep, you end up risking tearing bones off your tearing muscles off your bone because you're not recovered enough. You're dehydrated. Your body's not in recovery long enough if you don't get enough sleep. So your likelihood of getting injured, your general health and well-being plummet. So I always make sure I've got a Fitbit on. I always make sure that I'm at 8 hours of sleep every night. Like, I mean, 7:30 would be good because I'm in bed for, I make sure that I'm in bed for at least 8.5 hours. So if I get like 7.5 hours of sleep, that's like, oh, that's just me falling asleep and just snoring, waking me up occasionally, things like that. So if I keep pushing things out and out and out and out, I'll be reducing the amount of sleep that I'm getting, and it's just a whole domino effect of, well, eventually it's going to get to the point where I'm here's an idea. Why don't I just make sure that my end of the day is when I'm supposed to wake up and drive them into work, and then sleep the entire time they're at work, and then wake up to come pick them up, and then have my day start then. That's probably that's logically the best thing that could happen, and that's not healthy whatsoever. So it's like, I need to take care of myself in order for me to take care of others. So it's this cycle of, I'm getting taken advantage of, and I need to stand up for myself. But I'm scared for my physical well-being, because they have a violent past tendency, and they lack the control of their emotions in order to not. Because I'm 330. I woke up 333 because I've been depressed, and 2 days ago I was 337. So I was trending in the right direction. Now I'm trending in the wrong direction, trying to get up to the 350s for the American Pro 3. And I can't do anything if she comes at me. Because I'm just so big, I just have to let her wail on me if she comes at me. And there's nothing I can do about it. That's just the being a large, muscular, developed, straight white man. That's the reality of things. I cannot. Anyways, I don't know what to do at this point. I've been rambling for 16 minutes. But I'll figure something out. Maybe I don't know when I'll see you guys next. Maybe it's with my pre-gym meal at like 6 something. Because I don't know when to eat. Because my day is so regimented and scheduled that I don't know when to eat, when to do things. So I don't know, it's almost helpless at this point. It's almost helpless at this point for me to try and do anything, because it's like what I'm doing is not going to be possible to. I'm just in a no-win situation right now, and it's usually when people are in no-win situations, it's their own fault, and this is my own fault because I can't say no because I'm scared for my physical well-being and my safety to say no. It's not fun. So I forgot to record me eating my cereal, my pre-training cereal, 200 grams of Fruity Pebbles. But luckily, your boy's getting creamed up. I didn't forget to record this one because for some reason people on the internet just like videos of people putting things inside of themselves, and I just happen to be putting food and protein. So get inside me, I guess. The tub is almost empty, so we're almost done with the cookie and cream jokes. Alright, so we've been sitting in the gym parking lot for about an hour at this point, trying to build up the wherewithal to go inside. And what the funny part is bench is the best day. It's my favorite day. But we're struggling to go inside because that's a difficult task. Y'all get what I'm saying? I'm struggling to go inside. Because if I go inside and I do everything, then I have to get back in my car and then go home. And there's the hard part. So the more steps in between me and going home, the better. That's what's going on in my head. But it's already past my bedtime. I just need to go inside. Alright, boys, just finished the bench day. Now, I would say the main movement was a good bench day. We got in a good tempo. Everything felt good. The cues, we're kind of focusing more and more on the hand cues going on, making sure the pecs and the lats are getting fully involved in the movement so that we're not... we've got no stabilizers going on because we're doing Larson presses. So we've got to kind of... I really hate that I'm starting to use kind of as a verbal filler. We are leaning in towards using the main muscle groups, the pecs and the lats. Latissimus dorsi? I think someone commented that the lats are the latissimus dorsi, not latimus dorsi, which I have been told I put the sexy in dyslexia, so I'm gonna chop it up to that. But good bench day. We got in a good rhythm. It was a 365 for a 5x6, and it moved like 135 for a 5x6. And we had, I think it was 3 minutes rest. Pretty good. But when we were warming up, we had iso holds into zero acceleration push-ups, which I didn't feel like recording today because I'm in a funk, depressive funk, which you probably could have gleaned from my earlier rant, which I want to edit, but I gotta get this video out for you guys. so I'm not going to be able to edit that. Oh, well, what's been said has been said. But I felt a little bit of a pain in my shoulder, my left shoulder, where the pec attaches to the shoulder, and some elbow pain on top of that. So I've got the depressive lack of motivation and mentality going on. So we were actually at the gym for 4 hours rather than the usual 1.5 for a training day like this. I mean, it would have been 3 hours if I didn't have to do cardio on top of it. So we got there at about 7, I believe, and 7:30, and it's 11:30 now, so about 4 hours. So I was feeling this pain in my shoulder, and so I did a little bit of extra rotational or rotator cuff warm-ups, get some blood flow into the shoulders, and I'm not going to use that verbal filler, and get more blood flow to that area to get the recovery aspect going on there, because you don't want cold muscles snap, warmed up muscles stretch. That's, was it Conan? There was a movie where I saw with Arnold Schwarzenegger where they're trying to break someone out of an encampment, and they're trying to bend chains to free their friend who's a prisoner. I think it was Conan. I might be mistaken. But the commander was like, haha, they couldn't do that because cold iron breaks, warm iron bends, and they thought this iron was warm, haha, and then he smacks it with his sword and it shatters. So it's kind of, stop using that verbal filler. It's like that scenario, except it's your muscles, where if they're cold, they'll snap, but if you have muscle flow going towards them and they're warmed up and properly prehabbed, then you are at lower risk of injury. Not zero risk, but lower risk. So when we moved on to the accessory movements, we had incline dumbbell bench, which is very heavy on that area. So what we did was I would not suggest you normally do this, but we aimed to get every single one of the accessory movements that we had today, because we had both that shoulder and elbow pain going on. So we tried to, I didn't confirm with my coach, and I'm a bad athlete for doing so, but I mean, he'd probably understand. We tried to get all of the accessories in one set. So we had a 3x12 programmed for the bench. Normally I would use the 105s and do 3x12, but with that going on, we want to get a stimulus, we want stress, and we want some sort of adaptive response to what's going on. So we dropped it down to 70s, and we did a set of 36. We had incline dumbbell skull crushers, same deal. We use 40s, and we did all 45 reps because it's 12 to 15 every set. Instead of using 40s, we used 25s and got 45 reps. We got a pretty good hypoxic response going on. We got a pretty good pump from that. But I depressively was scrolling through Instagram and whatnot. I turned my timers off on those, and that was not a good idea because it just made things worse. Kind of like when you're depressed and drinking alcohol is almost like when you're depressed and scrolling through social media, doom scrolling. Not a good idea. So avoid it as much as possible, no matter how much FOMO you might have going on. But we did that in one set, and then I was thinking about Monday's program, and I thought that we had 3x20 and 3x8 of dumbbell curls, but I was incorrect. What we had was 3x20 plus 20 of cable flies and close grip push-ups. So I actually used the same weight that I usually do. I wasn't as strict with the tempo, and I was able to bust out 60. So kind of telling that when you use a tempo, things that you can normally do for 60, you can only do for 20, and it's a bit of a struggle when you're doing it for 20. So be strict on your tempos, boys. Then we did the push-ups, close grip push-ups, and just doing the pulse push-ups, working on that explosiveness, kind of leaning into the projectile motion of whatever movement we're doing, turning the bench press into a projectile motion. Because I don't do a tempo when I'm doing mechanically similar movements that are mechanically similar to like a bench press, because I don't want to develop bad muscle memory. I want to retain explosive muscle memory when I'm doing those main movements. And then we went into dumbbell curls. Normally I do 25s, we dropped down to 15s, and we did a set of 36 because we had a 3x12, and we finished off like that. And then we looked at the Fitbit, realized that we had 50 minutes of training, so we got sad and we walked on the treadmill for 50 minutes until that timer was up. And here we are, and it's about 11:30. I have to wake up for 6:45 to do my free Uber duties. So excited for that. So I'm going to miss 3 of my meals after. I'm going to miss my post-training meal and my post-training meal and my pre-bed meal, because a friend of mine said I should just go to Cape Cod for a week and just hang out on the beach, take a vacation, because I'm unemployed. I haven't been treating unemployment like I'm unemployed. Everyone's been treating me like I'm on vacation and I can do whatever they say they want me to do. That's not the case. I've been grinding, for lack of a better term. Every day I'm doing audiobook auditions, I'm doing Uber Eats, and I'm working on this social media stuff, trying to build a brand and trying to develop avenues for cash flow, because I've got little to none right now, and I'm trying to stay afloat, keep the bills paid, and not go into debt. And I could literally do what I'm doing anywhere except for the audiobook narration stuff. I would just need a Jackery and a lot of sound absorption material to cover the windows, and then I'd be able to do the audiobook narration stuff there. But I'd probably be in a better mindset if I did that. And I know I keep saying I just want to live in my car, and I need to actually buck up and do it. So I'm gonna go inside, probably get yelled at for being out too late. Life sucks. That's all I have to say. Life sucks. See you guys in the next one.